Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I have 6 vowels, which is pretty awful. No scoring tiles, so I will almost certainly be changing. The alternative to changing would be to play something like AINEE, which I may be able to play parallel to my opponent's move. If that scores over 10 points, that would probably be better than changing. Okay, just 12 points for my opponent. And I don't think I can play AINEE. Vor doesn't take anything after it that I've got. So I'm going to change. And I will keep an E and an N. Well, this is a lot better. But I can't see a 7-letter bingo with this rack. Is there an 8? Well, the main floater is the P. Can't see anything through that. Or the E. What about the R? Well, that looks possible, but nothing is coming to mind. And I can't see anything through the Y or the U. So I'm now looking at column 8. Do I have a 5-letter play ending in E? Or a 6-letter play ending EL or EN or ET? Surely I do. Gosh, well, I'm not seeing one. It would be nice to put the C on that double letter square in column 8. Well, this doesn't place the C there, but this does achieve some of what I'm looking to achieve. 28 points. And again, improving. I've got relocate in row B and co-relate. Do I have any other bingos? I've got PE to consider in row E for a 9-letter bingo. Can't see anything through that. Vor takes a T and an S after it. Great, relocate stays available. And this is going to place the C on the triple letter square. And relocate's quite a funky word because it takes a P in front and D, E and S afterwards, I think. So relocate 82. Wow, both blanks. Now, do I have a bingo here? It'll be low probability with 3 O's and difficult to spot with 2 blanks. Frontoon is good. I have that in column 2. I don't think I have that anywhere else. That spot's been blocked. 26 points for my opponent. I have got a 22-point lead. Now, what about row A, beginning with the C of Catine? I've got con as a prefix, but the F and the triplicate O doesn't help. I would have forenoon through an E or an R. That's not available. I've got the N of Catene, possibly for bingo's beginning non. Can't see anything there. What about through the U of Vor? No. Now it's going to be very difficult running through the alphabet with 2 blanks, so I'm not going to do that. I've got foot as a prefix or suffix. Well, there could easily be a bingo here, but I'm struggling to see it. It'll be the one beginning with the C in row A that will cost me the most if I don't spot it. Well, I'm not going to spend any longer looking for a bingo, or maybe I should. I think I'll just run through one set of tiles. See if anything jumps into my mind. That's the forenoon rack. Can't see anything there. Still nothing. Monofuel doesn't work. Well, I still do have mono FO. Nope. That's the non-prefix. That's then another forenoon rack and frontoon. This is foot as a prefix or suffix with NO. Wood. Okay, nothing there. So, what do I do now? I'd like to play off 2 O's and an F. Oof is good. Where can I play that? Well, I could play FOH at A1, but that's keeping 2 O's. I'd rather not do that. I could play oof down here. It's not going to score very much, but it is going to sort the rack out. 12 points. Pretty disappointing. I'm sure there's a much better play. Well, let me put this back. I think FOH up here, the score is going to justify retaining just 1 more O. 29 points. I think Bonnock is good. That plays in column 6. But I have some doubts. 12 minutes on the clock, a lot of tiles in the bag. Do I play Bonnock? And column 5 is pretty good as a double-double lane. Bonnock doesn't play there. Gosh, what a non works there, so do I have a play beginning non? I'm not sure about non-book. And do I have anything beginning con in row A? This shows how difficult it is to deal with two blanks. So, do I play Bonnock? I think I will try it. This isn't going to score very much. 66. I have doubts about this, so I'm just pausing, waiting for it to be challenged. If it's not challenged, I have a balanced rack with no duplicate tiles, but it's not a bingo-y rack. I don't think it's a bingo-y rack. Still waiting to see if this is going to be challenged. Hasn't been so far. Now I do have an E for going after relocate. So I could play Degu there, keeping ARK. 21 points, not a huge score. Hurling takes an S at the end, I think, so row H is available for a word with S in third spot. Row O isn't particularly useful to me. That K isn't in, well, it doesn't really go well with the rack that I have. Row E is a double-double lane. Great, in that Bonnock stays on, but my opponent comes straight back with a bingo and he's only 34 points behind. Vort takes an E at the end. So column 11 is quite hot. Can I use that? Well, I could play Cade. $34 points. And I do want to split up the D and the G. Well, what about playing Gawked, which doesn't use the Vort hook but gets rid of all my problem tiles? Slight doubt about this in case it's just AWK. Let's find out if this stays on 32 points. If it does, I've got geysers. Can't see anywhere to play that immediately. Again, I'm pausing, waiting for this to be challenged. I'm not 100% sure of it. Ah, it comes off. That's annoying. I still have a 30-point lead, but my opponent is now on turn, and I've got a poor rack. Ah, what I could do, and would have been much better, is to play Kegu down here. This sorts the rack out and leaves a decent rack leave. When you play a phony, it's important not to dwell on it. Nothing you can do about it after the event. Kegu 33, that is a much better play. I draw the J, which is a good scoring tile. I don't have a bingo. I could play... Well, I was looking in row H, but Kegu was actually blocked a play of Jest in that spot. Can I place my J in row O? There's my Z. Now, looking at the scores, my opponent is only 8 points behind. I can't play parallel to Zitty. If my opponent's got an A or an O, he will be able to, so I'm expecting him to have another good score. Can I score well with my J? I've got Jedi on my rack. And I've got the J for going in front of Ape in column 5. But KU has blocked a JE play there in that spot. I could play Jilt at D1. That's going to score well and leave a good rack leave. And it's going to provide a good opening in column 1. Which I'd quite like because column 13 is quite a hot lane. So this is introducing an extra lane and the rack leave is good. 38 points for Jilt, that's a good score. I'm just looking around in case I've missed any obvious much better spots for the J. I guess 04 would be, but I don't have any JIK or JEK words that I can see. I have girders, that plays in column 13 at the moment, making Tig. Do I have any other bingos that can play? Great! Girders remains playable. My opponent gets 45 for Jives, but I'm going to get a lot more for my bingo. He's only 1 point behind at the moment, so an excellent time to get a bingo. Abai takes a G in front, so Girders nearly played down here. I think Ridgers is its anagram. But there's nowhere for that. Ah, now Girders can play down here. That's going to score slightly more than down here. Sorry, column 2 is going to score slightly more than column 13. £70 points. Just pausing in case I've missed a much better spot. Yeah, I think that's the best I can do. Great, I draw the X, which is a good scoring tile. Now hopefully there are lots of spots on this board where my X can play. Tix is good, so I could play Max in column 13. If that stays available, that's going to be a big score. Max, Dim, Yuta and Tix. It does not stay available. A new spot does become available. Row A, I can play Max. I'm keeping 3 E's, but there's only 1 E in the bag. So that's not a disaster. Now I could play Mux down here, but that's keeping 5 vowels. I don't want to do that. So let me see what Max looks like. Mex is not good. Max is 42, that's pretty good. Stops my opponent going in that spot. Exam would leave a better rack leave. But I can't see anywhere to play that. Am I missing anything in column 1 parallel to girders? No. Now let me look at the score. Sorry, not the score, the time. 6 minutes left, 13 tiles in the bag. So 20 unseen tiles, 13 in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. Only 7 vowels, so even though I'm keeping 4 vowels, that's not a terrible thing. The bag is consonant heavy. But I do draw some of those vowels, but it means my opponent has probably got a very consonant heavy bag, rack rather. The Q and the U are still out there, so that provides potential for a big score. Wow, look at that. Only 3 vowels left, 2 I's and a U. But if my opponent has the Q, the U and the I, he could play quid across here. And he may be able to score well elsewhere. I'm only 60 points ahead, but that should be enough given how unbingo-y this rack leave is. And I can certainly take out this quid spot by playing there myself. I can play mead. I'm just looking to see if I can play in column 1. I think I do have to play the M. So I could play EME down here. Is there anywhere else fabulous for the Q? No, I don't think so. This isn't going to score enough. Sorry, it isn't going to score a lot, but it does stop my opponent from playing quid. 5 tiles in the bag, so it would be nice to play off 4 tiles. Can't see a way of doing that. I draw the Q. Can I play it anywhere? Onto an F, I would have whack. There's only 2 tiles in the bag. I could end up getting stuck with this Q. How annoying. I don't think my opponent can bingo. There can't be that many bingos with the remaining tiles. But it's possible that there is one. If I'm stuck with the Q, that's going to hit me for 20 points. So my opponent's about 60 points behind. But I also get to score with all the other tiles on my rack, so a stuck Q shouldn't cost me the game unless my opponent bingos. Now I would have cat onto a T. Wow, wonderful. My opponent's provided an I for my Q. Fantastic. I can now see the tiles that he's got left. So I shouldn't rush to play this Q in case he's got a bingo, which I ought to block. I don't think he's got a 7. Does he have an 8 through A, L or S of fetials? Can't see anything through the A or the L or the S. So, is there anywhere for my Q apart from the spot just provided by my opponent? I don't think so. I would have whack onto an F. There is no F available. So I think I'd just play QI for 11 points. Can't see anything better than that. Now I hope I haven't overlooked a bingo for my opponent. Oh, and I have! Pundits! 67. Agony. Okay. That's the end of the game, so pass. Ah, I lose. Well, that's pretty annoying. I had 4 minutes to see that my opponent did have a bingo and block it. But I note that he could have played pundits across here and down here. So although I'm annoyed myself for not spotting pundits, in fact, I couldn't prevent it from being played. So I think I was destined to lose that game. Let me just reply to that. So, very well done to my opponent. The final score, 416 to me, 424 to my opponent. A winning margin for him of 8 points. Let's see what I missed. I've downloaded the latest version of ISC, which is why it looks slightly different. This is my first game using it. I'm not blaming that for my loss. This was my opponent's opening rack. He has Parvenu. Let me just see that that plays. It does. He didn't spot it. He played Vor. I changed. Now, I changed here, and I like changing. All of these scores are really low with vowel-heavy rack leaves. My opponent's rack, he played Pervy. And this is where I took a while to find Katine. And that looks best. My opponent's rack, he played Raw, and I played Relocate. And didn't get to use any of its hooks, but it is best. Nice spot by my opponent with this rack. He played Hurling. Now, non-food. Non-food. I had non-food, and that did play down here. Let's see what else there was. E5. Look at that. Non-food actually played down here as a double-double. And that was the only bingo. And I didn't see it. And I could have got 100 points, and instead I played Faux for 29. This was my opponent's rack. Did he play a bingo here? No, and he didn't have one. This is where I played Bonnock. What else was available? And I thought about non-book, didn't play it. Non-book was good for 96, as was non-body. Nanobot. I didn't consider the nano prefix. Bonbons for much less. Non-noble, and there is Bonnock, so a whole bunch of bingos there. Non-book or non-body would have been best. Fetials for my opponent, a nice spot by him. This is where I phonied. Kegu was best. And also Ducker, quite a nice play in row O. Certainly better than my phony. This is my opponent's rack. He's got Dustily. Is there any way to play that? Well, there is, but not as a bingo. So he didn't miss a bingo there. And this was my rack, and I did now spot Kegu. That looks best. My opponent's rack. He played Zitty, and this is where I played Jilt. K4. Right, I could have played Jerd or Jared down here, but Jilt for 38 is fine. It has the best rack leave of the three, I think. This is my opponent's rack. Let's see if he had anything. Well, he didn't have a bingo. He played Jives, which left Girders playable by me. I played at a G2, that is the highest scoring spot. Ridgers played in the same spot, and Girders over here in column 13. Now I have a 70-point lead at this point, 15 tiles in the bag. My opponent plays Zoa. I played Max. Mux for 47 I didn't like. I didn't like keeping 5 vowels, even if the bag was consonant heavy. So I played Max for 42, and I think that's best. My opponent's rack, he played Blood. Now, what did I do here? This is where I played Eam in order to block Quid, but I probably shouldn't have been too worried about a non-bingo Q play. So A13, I could have played Mome down here for 31 points. Yeah, and the advantage of doing something like that is that even if my opponent does bingo, I'm scoring enough points that I could be able to outrun him. So I played Eam for quite a few fewer points. Well, difficult to see what's best here, but Mome's certainly an interesting play worth considering. This was my opponent's rack, and he did a great play here. He played Key, and that achieves a lot. It opens up a bingo lane for him. In fact, it gave him 2 bingo lanes. It also provided a spot for the Q should he draw it, and he retained the U in case he drew the Q. So there's a lot of good things about his play of QI. He's a long way behind now, but I'm in a tricky spot, and I think this is unwinnable. Let me see what's being suggested. ENE for 37. D5, where's that? Oh, right, down here. 37 points, but I lose 32 on count back. So this is a net gain of 5, 4, 10, 61 and 10, 71. I think I still lose to pundits. Instead I played QI for 11. Lose 18 on count back. So that's -7 as opposed to +5. So ENE is actually 12 points better. Let me bear that in mind. And then pundits for 67 down here. But if pundits had been playable across here, it would have scored a whole lot more. Well, I'm not sure if ENE was winning, but it would have made the losing margin closer. The losing margin was 8 points, so it's possible that ENE would have been enough. But anyway, a very tight ending to the game. Very well played by my opponent. Pundits from a very unpromising rack was enough to win the game. So I hope you enjoyed watching that and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.